Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, this is Jackie Kashian, and it's yet another pre-recorded The Dork Forest. The Dork Forest. I don't know why I've decided to call it The Dork Forest instead of just Dork. Whatever. It's Thursday, September 16th, 2010, and we're back in The Dork Forest. The website's, of course, JackieKashian.com, dorkforest.com. You can subscribe on iTunes or the RSS feed of your choice. And get this, now available, you can download it for free app. To your crazy phone, whatever, if you have a crazy phone. I do not. BlackBerry, Palm, iPhone, I have a Samsung. It was free. That's what I know. And but you go to Stitcher.com. There's a link on both JackieKashian.com and dorkforest.com. There's a donation button. I know you've donated. I know that's why I have this equipment. But if you haven't donated and you want to donate again, who am I? Who am I to say you can't? So go for it. That'll be fun. Anyway, right now, sitting in my living room in Van Nuys are my two guests, hilarious comedians, super fun people, and Kennedy dorks. We're going to talk about the Kennedys. Yes. Kathleen Madigan, welcome to the program.
Hello.
And Laurie Kilmartin, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
We're going to talk about the Kennedys.
Yeah.
And you have brought props. You have brought a Newsweek.
Yes, that's on my coffee table. It's been on my coffee table since the day that was released when Ted died.
Ted died? Oh, Ted died. Not John.
No, that's Ted's death.
Oh, Ted. Oh, right. Because whenever they're all dead now, aren't they? Aren't they all dead?
There's a couple of the ladies are alive.
Yeah.
So they can breed, but can we?
Yeah.
All right. Are they going to all have those giant Irish faces? That's awesome. I mean, they're good-looking people. I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah. Well, these three. Well, and the dead one, the older dead brother, he was hot too.
Which
Bobby Jr.
Joe Jr.
He died in World War II. And he was actually the one that they wanted to be the president. That was the one Joseph Sr. was grooming.
Right.
And he was devastated when he died. And John was kind of the fuck-off, right?
Yeah, he was definitely...
the spare?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the ultimate fuck-off was Ted.
Yeah,
but he was a fat baby. Fat babies always end up being fuck-offs.
Yeah.
That's a theory I have.
Phone it in.
But,
yeah,
nobody's paying attention. No one cares. They're like, look a little fat Teddy. Isn't he cute? Nobody cared.
He's gonna weed
I do
off,
think he was the hottest adult, though. I think he's hotter than John, and I think he's hotter than...
I think in this Newsweek picture, he's definitely the hottest at their youth.
He was standing in the middle,
now,
right?
He definitely took a turn after the Palm Beach,
He blew up again. He went back...
when he gained a bunch of weight again and stuff?
Yeah.
And the aging process is not good for any of us.
Skin. Yeah, that's true.
He was the only one who got old.
Yeah,
right?
we don't get to compare him to...
Right. Who knows what the rest of them would have looked like.
Right. They all could have looked like that in the end with their red faces and their crazy...
Yeah, it pretty much looks like every one of my uncles.
So, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
My side of the family I don't talk to anymore. The Irish side. They're good people. We're not going to say they aren't. Yeah, we just don't know them. We don't know them.
What happened?
Well, my mother died, and when I was a child, I didn't do it.
I'm sorry.
Quit looking accusingly at me. And but they were the Ryans, and so not O'Ryans. We were not pretenders to the throne. You're not going to out-white trash me.
I have Ryans way up.
Oh, you got some Ryans?
Levels back, yeah.
Right. So now, do you guys? Was it? And I love that you're both into the Canada. Now, when did it start? How did it start?
Obsessed.
We were just talking at Hermosa Beach, and you and I had never had like a long conversation before,
right?
And,
in life.
In life,
yeah.
just like
this
female comics, you know this too. We almost never meet.
Right, we almost never
we
meet.
Get to work together.
Heaven forfend, they have a lot of women comics on a show.
If you had two women on a show,
it's a free
people
show.
are coming. Hello,
unless you book it as such.
What are you
then
crazy? It's bad enough we have one of you here.
Dude, I actually did just work, and the guy he didn't even plan it. This, I mean, I think. I don't know. I worked with a woman MC and a woman feature, and I got a glimpse into what it's like to be a white male comic. Because by the time I got up, they were like, and after the show, they got us all mixed up. Like someone came up and said to the feature, "I really like your stuff about Wisconsin. She's from Denver." So that's what white men go through all the time.
I've worked with Andy Smith sometimes, but I think they book her because they think she's a guy. Because it's Andy.
Right.
Just put Andy Smith with her. Yeah.
I do think because we're always the only one on the show, we feel like we don't have to we can talk about anything. We're not as conscious about not talking about certain subjects.
Oh, right,
because
right.
There might be another woman on the show.
Yeah, there's no overlap.
Sometimes there is overlap, and you're like, oh, that hardly ever happens. That's a little awkward.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It was a little. I mean, I rose to the occasion. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was fine. Turns out the audience was on board. They wanted to see stand-up comedy. And
what are the odds, though, another woman could be as dorky as you?
What are
Nobody's
the odds?
act
Yeah,
could be
that's
as
true.
geeked out.
No, yeah.
Some
Funny geek nerd lady. I mean, come on, Jackie.
That's
I think you're
you
the
win.
queen.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Because, by the way, I got a lot of fan mail from people going, oh, my God, you're having Kathleen Madigan on? That's amazing. And then, oh, my God, you're having Laurie Kilmartin on? So you guys have some followings.
Yeah, we were just talking, and you somehow, I don't know how the conversation started, but you said Rosemary's coma and lobotomy, and my head exploded. I'm like, someone knows about that. Like, let's talk, Because I was totally into the Kennedys, and then my heart broke when John Jr. and Carolyn died, and then I just kind of let go of them a little bit because there's no one to talk to. It just seemed like it was a thing that I just had in my
I
He
couldn't
was-
let
he
go
was the next generation,
Ted
right?
was still alive.
Oh, right.
But I
right.
remember I was in Las Vegas working at the Comedy Stop at the Tropicana, and I'd
Right.
been out like all night gambling and drinking, and my sister called really early, like on the hotel line.
Wow.
So I'm like, I thought something happened to my parents or something. She goes,
Right.
Kathleen, John F. Kennedy Jr. is missing. And I go, well, I'm at the Tropicana in Las Vegas, and I don't have a car. So I don't think I can do anything possible to help find John F. Kennedy. And I'm like, she's like, I'm not kidding. It's that funny. Turn on CNN.
not
You're going to
funny.
miss it all. It's like another Kennedy
Yeah.
vigil.
Yeah,
so I
right.
did. I woke up, and I turned. But my dad tricked me into not liking those two as much.
Oh, yeah?
How did he do
Because
that?
he said they acted like Jackie. They didn't act like Kennedys. And I'm like, what does that
Oh.
even mean? You
What
want
does
them to
that
be
mean?
drunks and you want them to be womanizers, Dad?
Right,
He
right.
thought that Jackie refined them too much and they weren't good time Charlies, especially John.
She
She
did.
did. She put him-
And yet she couldn't take that. I mean, if she'd have known he was flying, he didn't really start flying until after she passed away, right?
I don't know when he started that, but I don't think you should ever get in planes with people that aren't really
Yeah,
pilots.
super. Yeah.
Yeah, John
Yes.
Denver. Let's
Yeah.
go through the list, If
hobby
this is your
pilots.
hobby,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not going to go.
yeah, it needs to be your job.
And especially when you're John F. Kennedy, I think we could hire somebody.
Yeah,
I think it's in
right.
the budget. I think we can pay.
Take it out of the George expenses.
Right. I mean, if you can't read those instruments right and then you're upside down, what a horrible
Yeah.
way to die, too. Totally unnecessary.
Unnecessary, and the mother of the Bassett. I mean, she lost 2 of her 3 daughters that day.
Wow.
Her Carolyn and her sister Lauren were on the plane, right?
Right.
And then there's Lauren has a twin sister whose name I'm forgetting if that's still alive.
It's probably with an L.
It's not.
It isn't. Okay.
No.
She was in the back seat.
Yeah. Lauren.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It was like those two in the front. He's
Right.
flying. She's in the co-pilot seat, and then the sister.
So, are there any boy Kennedys left?
Well, there's Robert Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's
There's-
son, the one who talks like this, his voice is kind of, there's something wrong
Yeah,
with it.
he's on. I
talks
think
like Jimmy
he's on
Stewart?
his second divorce. I think
That
his
guy?
wife Mary was arrested for another DUI, and I think
Robert Kennedy's
Robert
son.
Kennedy Jr. Yeah,
Yeah,
Robert
Robert
Kennedy's son.
Kennedy
Yeah.
Jr.
And Ted Kennedy Jr.,
Oh,
who's a hottie
God
and
dang.
gave a great eulogy.
Yes.
Really? He should go into politics.
Totally,
Because he's
totally.
like a big guy.
He's got it. He's got the Kennedy
He's
thing.
cute. Yeah, because
Yes.
Patrick Kennedy
Oh,
has nothing
it
but Joan.
breaks my heart.
Oh, he can't speak. He's an addict.
Not,
He's
he's
driving
boring.
around.
His
Jack
eyes
up
are
on-
weird. The whole thing. It's not good.
No,
Oh,
he is all Joan.
yes.
He is no Ted. And Ted
Wow.
Kennedy Jr. is like a replica of Ted.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
have 2 sons that even look that different. And
Yeah.
Patrick's voice is quivery. And
Yeah.
he's jacked up
And
on medicine.
He's not
and-
married. He's not. It's something. It's just he
He
the poor
struggles
guy
to
did
live.
not belong in that family, and he's struggling to live
To
up
try
to
to
the
fit
mantle.
in. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
When you're not
So,
competitive.
but there is a
and-
whole new generation of boy Kennedys
Kind of.
and girl
There's
Kennedys
more
that could
girls,
run.
There's
actually.
way more girls.
Yeah.
Because, well, they always end up living, too. I mean, 4
Yeah.
of the 4 boys are dead out of the
Right.
original family. And
Right.
I think Maria Shriver's mother's still alive, Eunice.
Yes.
Okay.
Ethel Kennedy, I believe, is still alive.
Right. I think so too.
She's not really
So wait,
Kennedy,
so
but-
Joe Kennedy was the patriarch, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Joe Kennedy, he was a rum runner or something like that, prohibition dude.
Yeah.
That's where he got his money.
He got his money that way. He
During
he
the
made
30s, right?
a killing on the stock market crash, and then was headed.
Oh, really?
Then he headed the SEC. That's where
'cause he
Roosevelt
guessed
put
correctly?
the Fox
Yeah.
in charge of the hen house, but because he had some kind of ideals for his kids, I think he actually did the job right, and he'd
Okay.
already made a ton of money anyway.
Okay, so
So
he didn't have
He
to.
straightened it out. He flew right once he got the money in
Yeah.
kind of.
He just
made
Right.
he just needed the money for
questionable ways.
himself.
Yeah.
Like once
Yeah.
he had the money, he was like, no, now it's fine.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
he's like the
behave.
Corleones in a way, where Michael tried to go straight. And Kennedy actually did pretty much go straight after a while. He was ambassador to Great Britain.
Okay,
Yeah.
which is a sweet gig. Pretty
Yes,
sweet gig.
very good gig
Yeah.
before the
Cake.
war.
Yeah,
and he
that
was a big anti-Roosevelt guy, I believe.
Yeah, and
Really,
Joe
yeah.
was, and yet
And
Joe appointed
I
him.
think sort of. I'd have to Google it, but I think sort of. In the very beginning, was kind of a fan of Hitler's.
a bit of a sympathizer.
Right?
Yes, he was.
Right, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Because
yes.
that really did not.
That's not going to play well in your talking about your history.
Well, it's
Yeah.
before Hitler got crazy.
Yeah.
It was when he was sort of
Just
just
when he didn't like Jews.
Yeah, you know,
He
just,
kept it to
There was a
himself.
time when
He
he wasn't
didn't-
killing him.
Right.
He didn't
Yeah.
have a plan at that time.
Right.
He just had
It was
an idea
pre-planned.
that
Yes.
he didn't want to live
It wasn't a
next to
solution.
him.
It was amusing.
It was just sort of a bad mouthing
Yeah,
kind
it
of guy.
wasn't,
And his
uh,
friends were just like, well, you just got to wait it out with that Adolf guy. You just got to wait it out. Maybe he'll die.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And-
know he said some crazy things at the rally, but all in all, he's not that bad of a guy.
Dude, everyone gets crazy at a rally. Am I right?
He's trying to get us new work. He's
He's
got a
building
great
a
new
really
plan.
cool highway. Have you seen it? It's awesome, and he's not putting a speed limit on it. I'm in.
Well, when the Kennedys went over there too, that was the press kind of fell in love with the family. You know, they brought all 9 of them over. Did they bring
And-
Rosemary over too?
No, they did, but then they sent her home because I used to do this joke in my act. This is terrible. Well, I only did it once. 'Cause
I
only-
love
let's
terrible
record
Rosemary
it.
Kennedy jokes.
This is
They're
a
the only
terrible
kind.
Rosemary
Yeah.
Kennedy
That's
joke.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Okay.
This is certain for your Kennedy dorks
I
out
only
there.
did it
Go.
once, and I got like a few people really laughed hard. Everybody else either didn't get it or was really angry
Sure.
with me. And I do love the Kennedys, so I thought I can't really do it. Right.
You can
But
get away
I
with it because
watched
of your love.
They had a TV miniseries at some point just called The Kennedys, right? And in one of the scenes, when he becomes ambassador to Great Britain, everybody goes over, but they were really scared that Rosemary, and I still don't really understand what was wrong with her. She wasn't retarded. She wasn't Down syndrome.
Right.
At this
Right.
day and age, there'd probably just be a pill and she'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
But back then, and she's in the Kennedy family and she's not acting right.
Right,
God
right.
only knows what that really meant. She was probably just sad. For
Yeah,
the
she
day.
probably would fit in our family.
Yeah,
Right.
She probably would have been the brightest one in my family. Be like, that Rosemary is wickedly bright.
She's hilarious.
So anyway, they send her back home because like everybody else is dating and there were all these fancy balls and all this stuff, and they didn't want her like acting out and embarrassing people at the fancy dance thing. So she was at home for an entire summer by herself. And I mean, I'm sure that the maids
Wow.
were there, but
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you didn't know that and you called the Kennedy compound that summer, you're like, "Hey, can I talk to Jack? Where's the butter? butter, cookies." I'm like, how do you leave a retarded girl home all summer alone in this giant compound? I mean, yeah,
Tell her you're out back and you'll be in soon.
So they did. The pictures of Ted when they went over as a family.
Yeah.
Because he's only like 5.
Right.
I think it was the cutest kid on earth. I really think he's the cutest kid. And that British papers went. He got to open a zoo.
No,
There's this
really?
picture of Ted, little
did go
Teddy
nuts over those
cutting
guys.
the ribbon rope, and I'm like, he was that popular at 5.
When
Yeah.
when
And he got
all
to
Joe
open a
was,
zoo.
and Joe was just the ambassador.
Yeah,
Joe's
well, I
the
mean, it
ambassador,
wasn't-
and the
and the
family,
British-
they fell in love with the idea of the family. Like I think that maybe that started in Britain actually. The idea of the Kennedys
yeah,
as this
big,
thing,
giant,
you know?
happy family, and that's the sister found that Kathleen's the other one that
Yes,
died
yeah,
in the plane crash because she fell in love with that guy, and
a Protestant.
Yes,
that was a
that's why
huge deal, right?
The Rose didn't go to the wedding.
Yeah, right.
I mean, talk about like throwing down that
Wow.
Irish hammer.
Yes.
Of that, my dad would do something like that to this day. Like, well, if that's what you're gonna do, I mean, I can't support it. I just won't attend.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Wow.
But then, how bad do you think Rose felt? You didn't go to the wedding, and then boom, she's dead in 2 weeks in a plane crash. Now, how do you feel, Mom?
Now how
I
do
wonder
you
if
feel?
she felt she was so
She's
religious.
human.
She
She
justified
probably-
so much of
Right.
Joseph's behavior
really?
by it's God's will, and she really like poured herself into the teachings of the church. I bet she just thought if she hadn't married a Protestant, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I'm sure she could have justified.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
some of my aunts going along with that line of thinking and really believing that,
Right.
not just saying it to trick their brain.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
well, you know what? She defied God and our religion, and things
Yeah.
are going to happen.
I got a brother who you cannot talk to him without him telling you some miracle that he claims to have seen, but he heard it third hand. And you're just like, dude, no. If someone didn't have any actual eyeballs, the last one he told me was somebody didn't have any eyeballs, but they could see. And I was like, well, there's a party trick. And he was like, and the guy read my Social Security card. And I was like, why, if you could see, would you use it for that kind of party trick? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you use it for some other power of good? And he said,
Well,
you don't believe?
What was in his eye sockets?
Nothing. His eyes had been gouged out or some horrible thing.
Oh my God.
I have no idea if they were gouged out in some sort of cartoonish way. He might have just gone.
Yeah, I guess horrible's inferred when you
Right.
gouge.
When I use the word gouge, and when the eyeballs are gone, something horrible happened. It wasn't an error, and because usually those are attached to your head, and so your head's done. But I don't know. But he said you don't believe in Jesus, or you don't believe in that miracles happen. And I was like, I can believe in miracles, sure. I just don't think if you don't have an eyeball with a cornea and a refraction device, there's no way you're seeing anything.
Well, if you did, it would be a miracle. That's what
Yeah.
he's saying.
Yeah.
Jackie, you're not following what he's trying to get across to you.
He makes perfect sense. You
My apologies.
discount a lot of science.
My retraction will be
I
typed to
wouldn't
him.
believe that one, though. And I
No.
believe a lot of stupid things. I am that lady. The fucking Loch Ness Monster, we're definitely fighting it this Thursday when they do the special. I'm the lady.
Is there a
buys
special
it
this
all.
Thursday?
No, but
Okay,
I watch
but
them
there's
all.
gonna be.
Like,
All
what's
right.
so stupid is I watch them as if it wouldn't have been on the news already had
Right.
they discovered
Yeah.
it.
No,
Like,
they-
it's gonna
We're gonna
happen
save it.
tonight
We're gonna
on
sit on it.
Discovery.
We're gonna sit on that. We're gonna go through
Couple
post.
weeks.
Yeah,
Shark
nobody
Week, yeah.
in production's gonna. No one is gonna repeat this till we get this show edited and then back on tape in America, and like it's a
We
really.
we have to hire someone to do music.
Yeah, we need Katie
Anyway.
Seagal on voiceover, and then we'll let it go. We're gonna drop it.
And then we're gonna release the information.
I buy. I believe in Bigfoot. I believe in all that stuff. But seeing without eyeballs,
What about ghosts?
I can't. Totally.
Totally
Don't
believe
even
in
get me-
ghosts.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a ghost. I need to see something to believe it.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
too.
I've never seen a ghost, but I've seen things that ghosts did.
Like,
I
What's
saw
that?
I
Like
saw
art?
a loaf of
Sorry?
bread fly across the room on its own
Really?
at Ron White's house in Texas.
All right, that's Ron White's house.
Ron
Ron
was
White
in bed.
First of all,
Ron
has
was
a
down
house
the
that
hall.
probably moves bread through the air.
Yeah, Ron White's house probably involves a lot of hallucinogenics.
Well, that does, but I don't do the drugs. I'm a
Right.
drinker. I'm a drinker
Right.
lady, not a drugger.
It's-
He
okay.
had to sign a disclosure saying that there was a ghost in the house named Whitey who was a town barber, and Ron never believed in any of
Town
this stuff.
barber.
You have to. He died in the house as well.
Whoa.
So Ron was like, this was maybe 10 years ago. He goes, Maddie, he goes, you go sleep out here on the couch. Just blowing out. You know, if Whitey gets weird tonight, and if
That's
you
an
get
excellent
scared,
impression
you're
of him.
more than welcome to come cuddle with me. Because he was always hitting me on me. I'm like, Ron, this isn't gonna happen. I'm not gonna be your
Schubert does that to me.
and he goes, I mean, Whitey can get real weird, so just I'm right down the hall if you need comfort. And I go, what exactly does Whitey do? He's like, well, he just gets agitated with certain things. Yeah, probably nothing.
He might have set you up. No? Like
There's no way.
What
Well,
are
the
the
thing
odds
is,
that you
Ron
have a
isn't-
ghost with the same name as you in the house that you buy?
I never even thought about that, Whitey and White.
Yeah.
Ron isn't together enough to like
To
rig
set
string
something
up.
and
See
plan out a big
You know,
trick
as
on
soon
me.
as I said it, I said to myself, Ron probably doesn't fall asleep at night so much as pass out. So it's not like he's getting up to do things.
Yeah, and I don't think he
It's,
thought, Kathleen's coming. I better get this trick sorted out.
I had a spit take with nothing in my mouth.
That
That's
would
fantastic.
be way too much planning.
Well, back to these guys though. I think they use the church to just comfort themselves through tragedy, right? You know, through
Was it self-fulfilling prophecy then? Because they have had a lot of tragedy in their family.
But
I think
Or
it's
have we all? I don't know.
I mean,
You think
back
that-
then, they lost a lot of babies. You know, I mean, when
What is this other book?
this is the Fitzgeralds and the Kennedys by Doris Kearns Goodwin, which is an amazing book that I was going to reread, but I didn't have time. But
Really?
Because
Because it's
great, great
750
book.
pages, and
Yeah.
you said to yourself, "Oh, I know I'm doing that show
I've got
tomorrow."
a week. I'll do
I
it
gotta-
again.
I think back then a lot of people died in families.
Yeah.
You lost half your kids by the time you were
That's
50.
true. There was stillborn.
You
in
would
the,
still
in the,
feel it. It would still be a grieving
tragedy.
process.
No,
as
she
much
was
as-
saying, do you think it was just them that they had, like, that they just
like the self-fulfilling.
incurred more
Yeah,
tragedy than
right.
other people?
It might be
I don't know. When you involve 2 world wars, I mean, I can name all kinds of people
Sure.
in
true.
on my dad's block where their parents,
100
their-
yeah,
half
100
their
years.
Yeah,
boys
right.
didn't come home from,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know
So-
what was interesting about Rose too is her father was a mayor of Boston, John Fitzgerald, and the mother was I forget why she didn't really attend events as first lady. Maybe she was like sickly, or she just wasn't into it, or he cheated a lot. And seemed like one of those things where she didn't want much to do with him. But Rose kind of stood in as first lady when she was like a teenager and a young girl. She
For
was
her
making
dad.
appearances.
yeah,
Yeah.
Honey
So
Fitz.
she's almost always been sort of the star and center of attention.
and she's, I used to think like,
And Rose,
okay,
wait
I
a minute.
can't-
Who's Rose?
Rose is John's mother. She's the
Their
she's the
mom.
matriarch.
Okay, so John Kennedy, Ted Kennedy,
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy, the
Yeah,
mom.
the
Yeah.
mom.
So married
yes.
to Joe.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
Just
she
following along.
yeah.
But every step of the way, every tragedy, she'd be right back out week 2, campaigning
Yes.
for the next one.
Yeah.
Well, he's gone. Who's next?
Yeah.
All right.
I
Bring in
know.
Teddy. Like, and I don't know
Yeah.
if maybe it's just denial or religion. Really, it is
Right.
the Catholic religion that if you really truly believe all this,
Right.
it's all going to be fine in the end anyway. You're all going to see each other in heaven.
Right.
It's all going to be great. So,
True.
but I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are so
if
many
you
rituals
genuinely
you
believe
can lose
that.
yourself in, and
Right.
And she didn't go like, I would have gone straight to Drunky the Clown.
Right.
All my kids
Exactly.
started
Yeah,
dying
yeah,
one
yeah.
by one.
After the third one,
Yeah.
3 out
Oh my
of 9,
God.
I'm out. Yeah,
Yeah, I might have even gone to ecstasy. I might have gone into the drugs, which I don't go into, but I would have. At some point, I mean, how do you... It's very Irish Catholic, though. My father can do it. My aunts can do it. Where it's just, you just tell yourself you're not going to feel it.
Right. Yes.
It's just
Yeah,
emotionless.
you just shut it out.
And you just shut up and you have another drink. Because, like, my little brother flipped out like a few weeks ago, and he goes, nobody in this family cares about my feelings. I'm like, right. right, Pat. We don't. I don't care about my own feelings. What are the odds I give a flying shit about your feelings, Pat?
How long did
I'm
it
like-
take him to jump
I'm
on
like,
board?
You're 33, Pat.
Age of Christ.
You've had the handbook.
Get it together.
It says if you have a feeling, stuff it with another drink. We don't want to hear about it. Even if I cared, I don't care to talk about it. So put it on a shelf, and then when you have a heart attack, when you're 60, we'll go, well, see, it's because you stuffed your feelings, and we'll blame you.
Right, because you lasted till 60,
But I
though.
think
Just think about it.
she was such a hard ass as far as emotionless. I mean, the father's screwing around. She's finding Gloria Swanson's fur coat on her couch.
He was
Everybody
kind of the
knows.
fun one, right?
Yeah,
a
he
little,
was the
and
fun
she was the one that just kept them in line and
Oh,
kept
right,
the family
right.
together through all
Oh,
that.
of
What
course.
Kathleen said he was doing.
But she at least was available, like
Oh,
more so. The
yeah.
dad was always gone, and
Right.
I mean, Ted
He's
always
either
said,
working or fucking.
right,
Yeah.
or both.
What do you
at the
now? Do you
same
think
time.
that's generational, or do you think that because it feels like that's what my dad was doing? You know, he was either drinking or fucking. He was actually either gambling or fucking. And then my stepmother raised us all. So I mean, it was a hardcore. I mean, I think that might be generational.
Yes, I think
yeah.
men were given more leeway to not be home and not be involved. I mean,
Right. I mean,
it-
you would threaten with the dad. It was
Your
like, wait till
point,
your dad
sure.
gets home.
to the point which men are involved these days. I mean, to me, the way I grew up, it borders on gay. Like
Yeah,
these
right,
guys
yeah, yeah.
that are like all
Hands-on
in.
parenting.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just
No,
saying
it's
compared
positive,
to how I
obviously.
was raised. But
Sure.
But it is.
Yes, I
what
do
a bunch
think
of
it was
pussies them
generational.
being there for their kids. It's amazing stuff. It's I've never done.
I think he had, though. I think the more money you have,
right.
the more
There's a
you're going to do
team.
those things because you can afford to, and you can afford, even if she decides to divorce your ass, whereas a lot of people cannot afford to get divorced. They
Right.
can't lose half their shit. Sure. Joseph Kennedy could fly to L.A. and go have sex with 20 actresses and then fly, because he wanted
And
to
at
be a
some
big
point,
filmmaker.
he knew she would never divorce him because of the church.
Yeah.
So he really could do anything he wanted to.
It's kind of a pass knowing she's staying.
Yeah.
No matter what I do.
right.
Punch her in the face, staying.
Yeah.
Have sex with that actress, staying.
Huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Which is also the religion thing too, because
Yeah.
she's
Also
on board.
it's the religion, and I also
Culture.
think it's, I want to be Rose Kennedy.
right.
If I why does, even in this society, why did Michael Jordan's wife stay all those years?
Right. Right.
Because
Right.
you lose the
Al
title
Gore's wife.
of Mrs. Michael Jordan and all the perks that go with it. You get the money, but you don't
Right.
get that
Yeah.
life anymore. You
And-
don't
and-
get the jets and the parties and the...
Because
Right.
you have to be the famous person then. Then you have to go
He's
through the
gonna
trouble.
get a new Mrs. Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
any woman now could sort of start over. I mean, in a certain like Elin
Tiger
Woods,
Woods, or-
yeah, so
Yeah.
she's going to be fine. But I think with Rose Kennedy, the way she was raised and the way they obviously had goals for their children that were high, like super high.
Right, and they
were
couldn't
going
come
to raise
from a
president.
divorced
They
family.
wanted it.
Yeah.
They wanted to raise a president.
Right.
And-
And did they come from like those I know
They
that
came
were
from
the
Irish
first-
immigrants.
They came from Irish immigrants, but most of those families are all related to each other, right? All the presidential.
Yeah, in fact, we were just looking at the
And so
family
did
tree.
they marry? Did they marry someone who found like it was a pilgrim or something?
No, they didn't have any money.
No.
Nobody had any money.
Yeah.
Except
But
I don't know
had they
how,
been
how
around,
did her
though, since
father
this-
become mayor of Boston without... He had to
He's
have
very
money.
well. They might have had. I think they eventually had some money, but he was a great.
So
Boston
Joe's
was
dad.
run by the Irish at that point, anyway. Boston politics.
Yeah,
and
but
he was
still,
a
even back
great
then, you had to have
networker.
money to win.
Right.
To run.
He must have had some. Was it Brahmin money? He must have had some sort of associations that way. So he obviously wasn't first generation. There were a couple back. But
Yeah, so they came like mid 1800s, or
yeah.
I think they're famine.
Yeah.
and
They're
well,
Yeah,
did they marry
definitely
some
famine
some
immigrants.
waspy Protestant? Who had
No,
been,
no one did.
Nope.
Not until Kathleen. She was
she
the
was
first
the
one
first
to marry
one
out of
to
the
marry a
faith.
Protestant,
Okay,
which is why God killed her.
Yeah.
And what?
And I think let that be a lesson for the rest of you kids in this house. Huh?
You young listeners.
Who wants to try and marry a Jewish person? You saw what happened to Kathleen.
Heaven forfend you meet a black man you like, and that's gonna make my head pop off. So they never married. They didn't marry into that old sort of the George Bush money.
No. They were broke Irish.
They did their
and
own
they-
illegal things
Yeah,
to get money.
yeah.
Sure. They took American ingenuity and created from the ground up.
Yes, they did.
Okay, fair enough. Because the weird, I read something where Al Gore's, dang it, George Bush's ancestor,
Yeah.
and I think it was Bill Clinton's ancestor, debated each other in like 1680.
No.
Yeah,
Really? See,
yeah.
that's why I believe. Here's the thing. I'm going to go crazy, too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the
do it.
Illuminati, and they're all pre-picked,
Mhm.
and it's all bullshit.
It's all pre-picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Kind of.
Obama on the white side has some pretty lofty roots too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, they do go back pretty far.
On the black side, it goes back pretty far. No, that's Kenya.
Yeah,
That's
he goes
that's
back to his Kenyan anti-colonial views.
Where
Right,
he
right.
was really born.
Where-
God.
Oh, the whole
so
Hawaiian thing.
sick.
You know, I'm going to Puerto
Oh,
Rico,
I'm trying to find
and I
it.
got booked to go to Puerto Rico, and the booker was like, "Hey, so do you have a passport, right?" And I just let the silence kind of go, and I said, "I do have a passport. We're going to Puerto Rico, though, right?" And he was like, "Oh, that's in the United States, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's in the United States."
Which
I
is
don't
why
need a-
I've never understood why we play them in the Olympics. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Do they have
That's
their own
right.
team?
Yeah, basketball.
You actually
yeah.
do need a passport to go to certain parts of Harlem.
What is that? Where does-
A lot of Puerto Ricans there, folks.
And boom,
I'm trying to find you the fat Teddy picture that I
the
thought
fat
was in
baby
it.
Teddy picture.
Yeah, look at him, how hot he was there.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that him in a car? Is that a
Yes,
picture of him?
yeah.
What's the date on that Newsweek? What are we talking about?
Oh, this is when he died, whatever, this past year.
Yeah.
2009.
Now, isn't it
2009.
interesting how so he goes through this thing where William Kennedy Smith, I do think date raped that woman. You know,
Oh,
I think that
do
totally
too.
happened.
I do too.
And he's like a doctor, which
And he's creepy
Oh,
looking.
he is
Wait,
creepy
now
looking.
William Kennedy,
He's
I
kinda
do
got that
remember
Patrick
that date
Kennedy
rape
creepy.
thing.
He's
Yeah.
Pat Kennedy married what's his name, Stephen Smith, and that's their son.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's William
He's a nephew.
Patrick Smith.
William
Okay.
Kennedy,
Kennedy
Smith.
Smith,
I mean,
right.
he does hit to Kennedy. He doesn't
So-
he's not Billy
But
Smith.
Pat Kennedy
Right,
is
right.
is a
Yeah.
sister, right? Is a
Pat Kennedy is one of the nine, the original nine.
the
yeah.
original nine.
Yeah.
There we
Who's
go.
still alive.
Oh my
as
God!
well.
Yeah.
You should have brought. I know you brought that genealogy, but just a big picture that could be painted on the.
Yeah.
I'm
would've
going
been-
to show you one in a minute.
All right,
Um,
let's see. it.
So Kennedy was drunk back then. Ted Kennedy and his son Patrick, who's 21 at the time, I mean, that really put Patrick on a bad road in terms of that was his
Yes.
introduction to the public, as he's testifying at his cousin's rape trial.
Right.
So there's very bad parenting happening right there. And then for some reason he starts flying right. He marries this woman named Victoria Reggie, who's the daughter of a Louisiana judge. And it seems like they had a happy 15 or 20 years.
They
Really?
had 20 at least, and she actually apparently was a very good influence on him. And I thought, oh, I don't ever want to be that lady.
Right.
Now, Ted, let's not have another bottle.
You're the one that
one.
cures a drunk.
Yeah,
Come
I
on, that's a
want that.
glamorous role in
Isn't
life.
it? Oh, yeah.
But this is Kennedy Smith now, who's gotten the straight and narrow since
No,
then?
no,
No,
Ted.
Ted.
Big-
No, we're
Oh.
saying Ted's
Ted
kind of
was out drinking with them that
yeah.
night. He
Oh,
woke him
right,
up
right.
to go out drinking.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
real Irish drunk.
That is.
You're waking me up to do shots. We just passed out.
Hey, my
Now we gotta
son's
get
legal now. Let's all go out, guys.
And
Yeah.
he took them out drinking. So, I mean, yeah, he's pretty much, I'm not going to say he's responsible for what that guy did, but the guy wouldn't have been out that night. Let's put it that way, most
Yeah.
likely.
Right.
You know, crazy uncles waking us up on the couch.
Yeah.
Right. We would just stay at home, made some microwave popcorn. No?
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well,
Right, probably not.
probably not.
Kennedy's
Probably
they
would have
went
raped
out.
a girl who didn't say anything, right? They would have picked better a
Yes.
girl who would consider an honor.
Sure.
So when did Rosemary die? She died.
Recently, within
Right.
the last 5 years, she
Yeah.
went to a home. They put her in a home after the lobotomy.
Oh, really?
So let's
talk about
Wait,
the
What,
lobotomy,
the
'cause
lobotomy?
Oh my
I would
God.
imagine she was some level
Rose
of autistic,
Kennedy had a lobotomy.
right?
Could have been that, too.
Yeah, I mean,
Could've been.
if
Or
you
she
look at
could've-
what kids have now, it's behavioral problems that they're embarrassed about, and they
Oh my
want her
God!
to act
They would
normally.
sedate
and
all
she's-
of us. Remember your childhood? There was no way that none of us we would have been on Ritalin from get go.
She
Right?
could have been. I also was thinking maybe bipolar because it definitely had highs. and
Patrick
lows.
Kennedy is bipolar. He's admitted. So although that might come from Joan Bennett's side of the family.
Joan's got a lot of issues.
I know, poor
Joan's bringing
Joan.
a lot to the table.
Joan, just as Ted's ex-wife, is such a drunk. It's so sad. Like they find her had fallen on sidewalks. This
in
is Joan
parks,
Kennedy.
just passed out.
Yeah,
And
she's
she's
really
actually
sad.
almost to the point of like just brain destroyed. They filed
Yeah.
for custody of her.
Yeah,
the kids.
Oh.
yeah.
And I've warned my parents. I don't care how drunk you get. I'm not going to be in charge of you. I'm not filing. I don't care enough to file for custody. If you end up in a park, it's your own
You better
damn
start wearing a
fault.
helmet.
Awesome.
Yes. The lobotomy they gave. Well, first of all, the dad did it without the mother knowing.
So Joseph did it without Rose knowing. And Rose, by the way, had spent hours with Rosemary every single day playing tennis, working with her. She put
trying to fix
a
her
lot
that
of
way.
energy into Rosemary trying to fix her and trying to make her, I think, normal, just, what they would say now, integrating into regular society. So this is,
Mainstreaming.
exactly. This
Right.
is a woman who put her heart into this and then
Well,
behind
and
her back.
apparently the tennis was one of the things that put it over the edge because Rosemary started throwing rackets, which is certainly a reason to lobotomize somebody.
Right.
John
you wanna-
McEnroe did that, right? Come on.
Tiger Woods would have had 12 lobotomies after throwing golf clubs, but she was getting like violent and she was big, according
Okay.
to them, right?
Okay.
If you're gonna, and I'm sure nobody wants to do something horrible to their kid, but at the time, my mom is crazy and was a nurse too, and she's like, I'm telling you, Kathleen, at that time, lobotomies were kind of the rage.
Right.
As far as your kid's acting out and is weird or
So what year was
retarded or-
this?
This was probably, I'm going to
60s?
say, in the
It was the
late
60s.
No, 50s, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, 50s.
Yeah.
Okay, so way before One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
It
they
was
had been
black and white
vilified.
movies.
But
Yeah.
this is how fucked up lobotomies were then. You're awake, you're not even unconscious, and they decide how much of your brain they're going to pull out by asking you questions.
Oh my God.
What's 2 + 2, Kathleen? Which is bad because I'm horrible at math. And like, what if I just didn't fucking know anyway? It doesn't mean I'm retarded. I just
Right.
don't know that. Ask me
Right.
something
But
about history, and I know. But I mean, you get this random
Right.
set of questions: who's the president? And then that based on your answers, they would dig out more or less of your brain, more or
Oh
less.
my God.
And if the frontal lobotomy is supposed to control.
Is that what she had?
Yeah. Supposed to control like physical rage and
Okay.
violence.
Okay.
So they.
They would ask you
thing
things
was-
to make you mad
Right,
on the
see if
table.
you-
They were just like,
you know.
"Hey, what do you think about him getting that job and you didn't get it?" Or whatever,
Whatever.
or something.
And sometimes
funnier
they
than that.
worked
would be great.
as
Yeah.
far as like calming someone down, but for the most part, they just turned them into.
Veg.
And she
zombies.
really, it didn't work. I mean,
Wow.
now how do you, if you're Rose, you come home
Right.
and yeah, your kid was problematic, but now
You
your
love
kid,
you don't care. You
you
love
don't
that's
care.
the way you love him.
It's your
her,
kid.
Yes.
And now she can't speak.
Right.
She can't function. She's going to have to be
Why
put
don't you
in
just
some
slit her
home.
throat if it's going to be like that?
all that work was completely wasted. You know,
Right.
in a
All
way.
the stuff.
I mean, there's
and
very
if
nice
they'd have waited
memories.
like 10,
you know.
But just for one of them, the
Right.
Rosemary doesn't remember it even. You
Right.
know?
Right.
if they'd have given it like another 10 years,
Well, you know what? Do you think
let's not
30
be
years
so
from now,
hasty.
Yeah,
people
right,
are going to
right.
be like, can you
Let's-
believe they kept people awake during LASIK? I mean, do you think 30 years from now they're going to be
I
like,
can't even hear a description of a LASIK without crawling under a table. It makes
right,
me sick.
right?
I
I'm
can't
just,
either, that's why I won't do it.
I
Yeah,
don't,
why
I
we
can't do
don't
it.
do it.
I,
Contacts
exactly.
lenses.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm doing glasses. I'm doing contacts.
And now
It'll
I'm
be
reading
fine.
glasses, and now I got sunglasses, and that's all I have is glasses.
I got, you know what I got? I got
A lot of
bifocal
glasses.
contacts.
I tried
Or
those.
progressive
Oh, how did
contacts.
are they heavier at the bottom?
Yes.
That's how they.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they were the first pair I tried on. Itched so bad I couldn't wear them.
I had to take
And-
3 pairs back. I gave up.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that's what they said. They said it's a crapshoot. You
It's
can't
not.
tell.
If you have astigmatism in your eyes, they're probably not going to work so well.
I
'cause
have
they
a
won't-
slight
I-
one. I
I
think
do
is what it
too.
is.
If your eye needs to be almost like a perfect circle for the thing to drop, the weight part to drop correctly.
Oh.
So if you have these weird shaped eyes, it doesn't
Right.
drop right, and then you kind of see them weird. Yeah, I gave up.
You gave up. Yeah, she was surprised. She said it doesn't work for a lot of people.
Nope.
So
I hated them.
worked out. I win.
But yes, the lobotomy, and then she spent
Yeah.
the rest of her life in a home in Minnesota. It, apparently,
Minnesota.
Yep.
They don't have homes in Massachusetts. What happened?
Well, I'm sure the
Hazelton?
the fancy
Where'd they
one
send
was
her?
probably
Okay.
up.
Yeah,
I'm sure
right,
they
right, right.
I don't think they sent her to like Jack
Rochester.
and Vicky's.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Geraldo Rivera wasn't doing a 2020 special.
right. But I guess Eunice, the one who started the Special Olympics, that was because of Rosemary, and she still went and saw her all the time and visited her, but the lady didn't know.
Right.
But I guess it made her feel. If it was my
Right.
sister, I'd still go, even if she didn't know. I would
Sure.
know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
of course.
Sure.
But that, I mean, that's tragic.
Right.
I mean, okay, Kathleen dies in a plane accident. Yeah, that's tragic. But in World War II, planes were falling on this guy left and right. That's kind of
right.
wasn't that odd.
So
To have
everybody
your
was in
husband
World War II.
lobotomize your child while you're gone,
Right.
little
Yeah,
odd,
horrifying.
little weird.
It is weird. My
After and everything else he's doing, like banging,
Yeah, but he had
banging
time for
Gloria
that.
Swan. Like, is there nothing in my life you won't stick a knife in and destroy and gut?
right.
And to still be like, doing the. And she wasn't one of these ladies that did the public appearance and then went home and was completely crazy or drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
She was just that way all day long. I mean, kept it together. This stoic.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not going to think about the negative.
9
It's
kids?
like, it's my
Is that what
dad.
she had?
If you feel good,
9
you
children,
act
yeah.
like you feel good, you'll feel good. It's totally my dad's, like,
Right.
that's the way you're supposed to operate in life.
Wow.
And that lady did it.
Yeah.
So how does it go? What ages wise on the kids? There was Joe Senior or Joe Junior.
Joseph Jr. and then John.
Kennedy.
I don't know how the girls
No,
fit in, actually.
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
was second.
So
Second.
Joe, Kathleen.
Then I would say Jack was 10 years younger than him, I think.
Was he really?
Let me look. Maybe not
Wow.
10.
Right.
There's a chunk of girls in the middle.
There's a bunch of
like
Eunice,
girls.
5 in a
Pat.
row.
Is Eunice, Pat, Rosemary,
Kathleen. or
and
maybe it was-
Kathleen. That's 4 girls and
So there's 4
There's
girls
another
and
girl.
5
who's
boys.
missing?
Rosemary?
Who married Crawford? Who married
Peter Lawford.
Lawford?
That was look at her thing.
Wait, who's Rosemary?
She's the
Rosemary's
retarded
the
one.
retarded one.
Right, wasn't she?
She wasn't married. Peter Lawford married.
I'll tell you.
So wait, but it goes Joe and then
Jean Kennedy is who we're forgetting.
Yes.
Okay.
It went Joseph, John, Rosemary, then Kathleen, then Eunice, then Patricia, then Bobby, then Jean, then Ted.
So Teddy is the youngest. Teddy's the
Rosemary was
youngest.
born in 1918, so you figure 20 years. It was 1940 when they did that to her. Probably.
Right.
Maybe she was 25. At
Wow.
the most. Yeah.
So was she that happened to her before any of the kids died, right? The lobotomy.
I'm gonna say no.
You think?
Oh yeah,
Joe
because here
Jr.?
I'll be able to tell
Oh,
you.
yeah,
when
yeah.
He died in World War One. The
No,
oldest
Joe-
son.
No, and World War II. Joe
Or
Jr.
two?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
if Joe was born in
44,
1918.
Okay, then I'm gonna say Rosemary got lobotomized. I would guess right around the time Joseph Patrick Kennedy died in the 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me
which
see.
is-
Let me see that genealogy when you get a chance.
I wanted you to show you a picture.
You
want
wanna
to
show me that
Rosemary
picture
to show
of
you
the
that
baby
she
fat-
doesn't look retarded.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
Yeah,
chubby.
I have. I don't remember
Right.
though.
But, all
Show
my
me another
cousins are
picture if
chubby.
you-
I don't
Right,
think they're retarded.
It's I once had a heckler once who told me he wasn't drunk, and I said, "Then why do you look like you have Down syndrome?" And so, which is
did you find out why?
it turns out, luckily, he did not have Down syndrome. He was drunk. He was willing to admit it after I accused him of Down syndrome. So,
Okay, I mean, here's 2 pictures of her as a little kid. Totally not retarded.
there
Oh,
has
yeah,
to be a way that I can
definitely
add
not
this to the podcast. Jimmy Pardo, I
Yeah,
did his
it's-
podcast on Monday, and they said they're going to add a video. They were going to add still photos. There was a
I
lot.
guess you could put these on your website.
I could put them on the
could
website.
scan them when I get home, or do you have a scanner here?
I'm sure there's a picture of Rosemary Kennedy on the interweb.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out
You
on
would
the
be
web.
internet
surprised,
access?
though, how
Really?
hard it is to find. Yeah,
Really?
Watch this. I'll still talk, but I'll Google it, and you'll be surprised.
You want to Google it now? What do we? You
it-
realize we have been talking about the Kennedys for 40 minutes.
I'm not even.
And
We haven't even got to
and your
Jackie.
problem is,
I have no
Jackie,
problem.
you
We
know-
haven't even gotten to the current generation.
Oh yeah, now Jackie Kennedy lost a son. She had a son named Patrick Bouvier Kennedy, who was the 3rd, right?
Yep.
And he died as an infant in the 60s, which is pretty
He only
shocking
lived
that
like
the
a
first
week,
lady
right?
would.
Or
Yeah,
2
very
yeah.
short
Wait.
amount of time.
Oh my God, he lived a week as
Yeah.
a baby?
Yeah.
No, he lived a week as a 12-year-old, and then died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible. You would want. Wow, what sweeping statement was I about to say? You would want that baby to die.
You would want your
immediately?
baby to live.
Yeah, you'd want him to die.
Well, and I don't think Jack was there when she gave birth either. I think he was
Oh.
doing something he probably shouldn't have been doing.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a perfect picture to prove this woman was not retarded.
Okay, you got a picture on the BlackBerry?
It's coming up on the slow.
On the
my,
slow.
my phone's so bad, it's free now.
Oh, really?
I'm not even kidding.
Really?
If you go into a store, they will pay you to take the curve out.
What do you got?
The curve.
What is the curve? Who makes
The
that?
BlackBerry.
It's a BlackBerry curve?
Mm-hmm.
I
look
was
at
just
that.
listening
That's
on the
nice.
way here. They've released on iTunes. Oh yeah,
That's not
Let's see.
retarded.
that is not retarded.
Oh my God, no.
She's
I know, it's like the opposite. She's
that-
actually,
Beautiful.
she's actually pretty.
Wow. That
She should be on this podcast
she,
right now.
she should be on this, but that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
No,
She-
I'm going to say
she
that's
completely
her
has her
in,
shit together.
She must have been in England right there. That
Yeah,
seems like
that's
a
what- I think
picture
when they
there.
went.
Yeah.
I bet you she just didn't want to be a Kennedy.
I bet she was some sort of
Manic
on the
depressive or-
spectrum, and because her other brothers and sisters were so superlative, she felt even more uncomfortable and awkward, and that made her angry, and she wasn't good with her feelings.
Right, and she should have
Yeah,
done stand
and
up.
she actually, like the rest of the family, had them.
Right, she went out on a limb and had
Sorry,
some.
Mom. Unlike you.
I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna do
Honey.
it.
Oh.
I was thinking. Okay, so the bottom of this Kennedy family chart has who they married.
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy married a Marquis or a Marquess.
Yeah,
He was a British. That's
Peer
the
of
Protestant.
the realm.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the.
He
that
was
the
he was in a
Protestant.
British royal. He was like a low level royal.
Sure,
very
sure.
low
Not
level.
a big.
Yeah, he's not like.
But that's plenty.
But fancy.
But
Yes.
fancy.
Yeah.
I've never known how to pronounce that, and I've read more Regency romance novels than you can shake a stick at. Why don't I know how to
Even
pronounce?
one would be
Let
more
me
than
see
I
it.
thought you would have
What's
read.
No
Marquess,
kidding.
Marquess.
When
You know what's an
come off your
unforeseen-
crazy dorky-
Unforeseen dorkdom. Jackie Cation
Romance
and an
novel?
occasional
It's a
romance
marquee,
novel.
Yes?
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was Marquis.
I think
but
it's Marquis.
But you're
All
right.
right,
It's spelled
let's-
Marquez, not
Yeah.
Right.
UIS.
And I've
I
always
bet
said
we'll be
Marquis.
corrected by a listener.
You know what? If we had the chat room still,
If you have a pronunciation dork that
Do you have
listens.
callers into this podcast?
I used
They
to have a
probably
chat
can't.
room. I used to have callers, and now
not
I
live,
have a
though.
pre-recorded
Yeah.
show that I put up on Libsyn, and you can listen on Stitcher. Feel free to donate, ladies and gentlemen. What?
I don't even know what any of those things are you just said.
Libsyn?
Stitcher and
Stitcher?
Lipitor.
She's not even speaking
Hey,
American.
did you guys
No.
know? Did you guys? I was on La Brea or La Cienega, one of those streets over there in Hollywood, and there's a lingerie store called Trashy Lingerie.
Trashy lingerie.
They own Trashy.com. Do you know what that means? Ground floor of the internet. If you own Trashy.com,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
that's early days. You had to
Really?
say to yourself, I bet this internet thing's going to take off.
You know what? This
I'm gonna
idiot
buy.
picked like 20 that I thought for sure would, and you had to
Yeah.
pay like whatever, $100 a bet.
Oh no.
Nothing.
HungoverOwls.com.
No,
Have you
I
been to
had
that?
all kinds of ideas. Drugs are here. I don't know.
EAR, you
I
spelled
thought
it
a lot of,
wrong.
like drug and alcohol things.
Daughters of the American Revolution. You should have bought that. That would have been something. I wonder if the next page has their next generation. No,
I don't think
no,
so.
it ends there. They don't
I
have
think
their
she
kids.
just stopped it at the 9.
I know their
Okay.
kids.
Or
I-
you can do their kids.
Kern's good
well,
one,
I can
though.
tell you, this is crazy that I know this.
So John Jr., did he have kids?
No, he didn't.
He did. He died
That's
in
a
World
huge
War II
tragedy.
before.
Caroline did have she has children. She has a daughter named Rose. Caroline Kennedy has a daughter named Rose Schlossberg. Caroline married can we say a Jew?
a big, giant
Jewish
Jew
artist.
Giant.
Ed.
Edwin Schlossberg. It's a
Edwin
horrible name.
Schlossberg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you his family was never in favor of Hitler. Never.
Oh.
Not even early days.
I think they have 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah, I think so too. Rose
Oh.
is the one that seems to be featured on Gawker every once in a while for being for it, slightly crazy, maybe in college, but
Really?
Actually, it's nothing. You
Right,
know.
right. It
It's
turns
just
out
a
she's
girl
20.
being 19.
Yeah,
and she
it's-
looks a lot like Jackie, which is
Did you
kinda
guys-
The
cool.
Patricia, who had kids with Peter Lawford, Chris Lawford,
Yeah.
one of them went completely crazy.
Oh,
And
really?
then his brother, I believe, I read the book too, My Life as a Lawford or something.
My
Because
Life
they were
as
the
a
crazy
Yeah.
California cousins.
Right,
'Cause
right.
Gene went to go marry, or who married him? Patricia married Peter Lawford. He
Yeah.
was the
And-
Hollywood star.
And that guy hung out with Sinatra.
Yeah,
That was a
so-
whole nother level of
Oh, wow.
mafia
that
they were
group of
creating.
Kennedy cousins
Yeah.
lived in Santa Monica.
Right.
Yeah, what
LA
do you
was
think
their
about the
life.
mob thing? Were they with the mob? Were they
I think
mob
Joseph
connected?
Kennedy was definitely
Yeah,
in
Joe
favor of
Joe
those people.
Senior. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he did a lot of business with them when he was a rum runner, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
before during Prohibition.
Right, and then
I think
the
they were in his
Lawfords.
BlackBerry.
He had a BlackBerry in
was definitely in his BlackBerry.
1950.
Now,
It was
Robert-
called a calendar.
Robert Kennedy Jr., his daughter Rory, she was getting married. That's when John Jr.'s plane went down. They were flying to the island
wedding.
where she's getting married.
Oh wow!
And so she is a pretty
I
well
like that
respected.
you're still sad about it,
I-
Kathleen. It's like
Talk about a buzzkill for the wedding.
Right.
They died on my birthday too.
Oh.
Maybe that's why I had to sever my Kennedy ties. But she's actually a pretty respected documentarian. She did something on Appalachia.
Yeah, the West Virginia poor people.
Yes.
Oh,
for
okay.
HBO, that was really
They're
good.
still very liberal and
Service-oriented,
trying to, yeah,
some of them.
And I
it's
like
nice because
that.
the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and
They all
was
did
like-
that stuff.
They all did
gave
that stuff.
Tons of money away.
It was like we are going to step on your broken skull to get this money, but once we do, I'm going to open a
We're
library.
gonna give you a fancy museum,
Yeah.
but it's better than nothing. That's
Yeah.
the
It is
problem
better
with
than
the
Gates
nothing.
is doing
current
that now too.
day.
Buffett
He is,
too, a little
he's
bit.
doing it. William Buffett does, but that's my problem with the Republicans now.
Yeah.
I don't see the Bush family
No.
building. You know, you've made all this money off the war and all this money off all these lives, and
Right.
could we at least get like a dance house or something? I don't know.
You want to go dancing in the Bush Hall?
You know, something, anything. Yeah. Oh, wow, delicious
Wow.
cider. Did the people listening know that I'm drinking and Laurie's drinking
That we're all
while
drinking.
we do this?
Right,
That's
there-
why it's more fun.
It makes it more fun.
And it's an
what
honor to our
Kathleen
our
emailed me and she
obsession.
said, "Yeah, I'm going to want some beer for the podcast."
Only
I was
two.
like,
I have to drive back to the other side of the hill.
exactly, and but I thought I thought it was fair enough that
Delicious
it is.
Oh, is that?
Is
It really
is it?
is.
It's Hornsby. What is it?
cider.
I got it
Apple
at
cider.
Ralph's.
Oh, did you get it at Ralph's?
Yeah, I
You
do
know
like
how
a
to party.
flavored beer.
Oh, you like a flavored beer?
Yeah,
Delicious.
I like to.
It's you know what we had in our beer fridge. We have a beer fridge. I'm from Wisconsin. Has that been established? In the garage, and we had a Mike's
I already
Hard
saw it.
Lemonade.
And there's a giant iguana.
I
back
saw
there,
the iguana. I
FYI.
brought my kid here, and he saw the iguana. He had a
Oh
good
yeah, he
time.
was on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's tiny children love an iguana. And, we have, but he, I had a Mike's Hard Lemonade, cranberry flavored, and I stopped drinking a long time ago. And I have to tell you, I feel like I missed something when I missed out on the Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
And what I mostly missed out is waking up underneath a pile of coats. But because that's how I would drink. I would drink until I would end up sitting on everybody's coats and then fall over in a pile.
At least you're at a party, though. It's not alone. You're not
Right,
under
I'm
your
not
own
alone.
coat.
Right. It's not your closet. You climbed in.
Had to
Oh,
walk in.
sad.
She walks in, but she doesn't walk out.
Sad.
Oh my God! So what? Let's plug some stuff before I forget. Kathleen Madigan, you do stand-up comedy
I do on some Fridays and Saturdays.
on the occasional
I
Fridays.
have a special coming out.
Yeah,
And
little
here's
Comedy
the cool-
Central special.
No.
No,
I'm done with Comedy Central.
are you? You gonna
Comedy
call it?
Central and I are getting a divorce.
Excellent.
I'm done. I'm the scorned wife
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be on Showtime first, but then here's the fun part.
Yeah.
Then they're going to get a certain amount of time to show it, and then it's going to where my people really, truly are, CMT.
Oh,
Country
sweet.
music
You
television.
know why? They're
Why?
totally... Comedy Central, if they make your DVD and CD,
Right.
they have all the impetus in the world to show it 5 bazillion times.
Right.
But if they don't own it, they really don't care. I
Right.
don't think. They don't
Right.
show it that often. They put it in weird times because, let's say they make Laurie's, but they don't make Jackie's. Well, we're going to give Laurie the 8 o'clock good spot.
Yeah.
We'll put Jackie on at 2 in the morning. whatever.
Right.
This is a total hypothetical because they haven't
This
done
is
shit with
shit
me.
on me either. It's
Complete hypothetical.
It's you guys.
Yeah.
Should we all just start a petition of we're breaking up with you?
Well, and that would
Comedy
be
Central.
even to say that they're actually using our names in the meeting rather than the chick.
Yeah, or
What
just
about
some
the
woman.
chick?
Isn't there some woman who does jokes?
No, the short one.
There's a woman who
No,
does jokes.
isn't there some woman who talks about video games? Remember her 10 years ago when we gave her a half-hour special? They show it every 7 or 8 months. And
Because, somebody will Facebook about it. So
I get
okay.
4 new fans. And it doesn't matter if they show it at 8 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning. 4 new fans. Thanks
4
for
per
playing.
airing.
4 per airing.
So then, but CMT they're all excited and they want to show it a million times. And they're showing like Ron White stuff. They're starting to try to show.
Oh, that's great.
right. They're
comedy,
showing
and
more
I
comedy.
thought I'd rather go where they want me. And
Yeah,
I would rather
sure.
go where they say, we're going to show it a bazillion times.
Yeah.
And people will come out to see you live.
Yeah.
Right, because that's what brings people out.
Yes.
It
Right.
was like, the Chelsea Handler. Let's,
Wow, those guys make a lot of money.
those guys go on the road. I've had 2 club owners tell me, you got to get on Chelsea Handler. I was like, I've asked. And I don't even like
But
that show.
Someone
I don't like,
just killed her chances.
well, they've passed on me more than once. And the thing is that the Chelsea, those sitting around snarking out about stuff, that's why I like the Dork Forest, quite honestly, because we celebrate the crazy things that
Right,
we're
right.
into. I
Yeah.
don't want to bitch about somebody's fat thighs. Who gives a shit?
that's
I have
why
fat thighs.
I don't go on it. And some
Yeah.
sometimes it's people I know
Right.
that I'm
I don't
friends
wanna-
with. Like,
That's-
I mean, like or
Yeah.
dislike her. I'm friends with Caroline Ray, and
Yeah.
Chelsea was just ripping her to pieces. And I thought if I was sitting there, I can rip somebody to pieces for fun if they're there.
Yeah.
If they're in
If
front
they're
of you,
there and we're
it's fine.
Yeah.
then you can rip me back, blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But I think it's always I don't ever like this. You're hiding.
Let's not
and
record
there's
it.
no cover.
Yeah.
And-
I don't, plus,
somebody's
I don't even
screwing
know who
around.
half the people are because I don't know enough about pop culture.
Right.
Like I don't even know why I don't know who they are, but why am I aware of the Kardashians?
Oh,
I
I,
really
saw.
truly
Did I
don't.
tell you?
Can't-
I saw a still
There
photo.
was a
of-
time where I could just be like, they're gonna go away, and I don't need to know the sisters, and they're
Right.
not.
They're not, and they're
here.
a fine Armenian.
And they
example,
think
by
they're
the
the
way.
Kennedys.
Really,
They
Oh, they
think their
do.
family is as important.
I
They are
saw-
Armenian, right?
They are.
know,
Sadly.
Mike,
Tell
they're
them they're not until they get an hour on the Dork Forest. The
Until they
Kennedys
sort of get
did.
their shit together.
I've been
Here's
sort of playing around with the joke about the genocide and
Sure,
why
they're
Turkey won't admit
hilarious.
to it,
Yes.
and maybe it's because they killed every Armenian except the ones we want dead. Like
Right.
maybe they're embarrassed that they did such a bad job. Like you couldn't
true.
get the Kardashians.
Missed
They're
them.
out there. We can't get away from them.
No, those guys are slippery. I did see a picture of Kim Kardashian. It was a still photo, and she looks really pretty in still photos. I wish she wouldn't
But
talk.
doesn't everybody? You just look
Uh,
Photoshop. Everyone looks pretty.
Oh, sure. There could be some airbrushing going on, but
yes.
yeah, I think the Kardashians have an airbrusher. Do they have an on-staff airbrusher?
But I mean,
sure
I
they
don't know
do.
enough of. I literally
I don't know enough
I don't
about
know what
any
they do. I don't.
I've never
understand
seen
it,
the program.
So I can't be on Chelsea talking about them, or I'd
Right.
have to go do all the research.
Right.
Yeah, and I was
I'm
willing to do
not
it because I'm
interested enough
I'm
to-
just like it's fine. I'll go look into it. But I mean, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to badmouth. I will sit around and use people that people feel strongly about. I had a long argument with Jim Norton. And I say argument, he was lecturing me for 45 minutes, saying that
That
I'm
sounds
not
like a discussion with Jim
yeah,
Norton.
exactly. About how I'm not a real comic because I don't appreciate Dice Clay. And all I said was that Dice Clay's material was not for me. All I said was I don't think he's performing for my demographic, and he is not. I do not. It's not my thing. And so 45 minutes of him telling me that Dice Clay is a genius and I don't get it. And I'm like, fair enough. I don't get it. I don't have
Or
to get it.
yeah, we're comics, but we're also half people.
Yeah.
And
That's exactly what we are, though. Not more.
No,
exactly.
I'm half a person, and I can still say I don't like that comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I can say not for me.
Right, and finally I ended it with, I said, you know what, Jim, let's just agree that Margaret Cho's a genius and move on. And it really shut him up. It shut up. He was like, oh, I get it. And then we were done. So it was, I mean, it's really so I don't know. So you're gonna be on Showtime, and then you're gonna be on
it'll be on
country
CMT,
music. Yeah.
And then there'll be DVD and CD and all that. I don't know when that all gets released. It's called Gone Madigan, which is kind of fun.
Gone Madigan, that's
and
fun.
How many CDs have you released prior to this?
This is the fourth one.
Fourth one.
Yes.
And did you do CD Baby? Did you do that thing?
For the one that I own, which is
Right.
the only smart thing I've ever done in my life.
Because it's working, right?
Wait,
Good.
what happened? Tell me.
Well, because like the first
Musicians
CD,
do it.
we all get tricked by somebody locally. I think. I mean,
Think globally.
all the comics I
Yeah.
know got tricked on their first one by either the distributor, which it's non-existent anymore. It's irrelevant. I mean, there's no Virgin Records where your CDs are going, and even
Right.
I mean, you got to maybe get in Walmart and Best Buy, but just. The whole concept of a distributor, the whole concept of any kind of business talk makes my head explode anyway. But I got tricked into the first one and let someone else produce it. The second one, I was like, but then technology caught up too. Like, we can make our own CDs now and send it to this place in Nashville, and they send it back with a cover, and it's all like $1.
Right.
Right. It's a
Wow.
it's a nickel. Yeah.
Then the third one I did with Warner Brothers, and that, you know. If you're gonna
That
get
sounds awesome.
That all sounds fantastic.
It does, but I'd still rather own it myself.
Right, because then you don't own it. So the third one you did yourself?
No. Second one I was smart.
Second
enough,
one
but
you
then
did yourself.
Third one, Warner
You
Brothers
went back to
came
Warner
calling,
Brothers.
and then I thought that sounded fancy.
And then
my
this new one did
Midwest-
Showtime do it? Oh, but that's a DVD.
No, this next one is Image Entertainment, but that's
Okay.
been a great deal, and they're lovely to work with, for real.
Oh,
I mean,
that guy. Yeah.
Garrett Lee and all
Yeah.
those guys over there. They're all into it. They're all excited, and it's not. They really will get at places that I couldn't get on my own. Like when you go on iTunes, there's a reason some people's stuff are on the first page.
Right. Sure.
Yeah,
That's
because they
not
know
random.
that. No,
Yeah.
that is
Right.
not.
There's people that are saying,
Right.
hey,
It's
blah, blah, blah.
somebody there's encouraging. I'm told that if a lot of people review your CD and if a lot of people review your podcast, it will push it to the top.
I believe that.
And it works, which means American public, please review the Dork Forest.
Have you? I've read reviews. Like I can't take it.
Oh no! Oh,
You know,
the reading
I mean,
when you were on Last
here's
Comic
the thing.
Standing,
I
they're all
read
come
good
up.
reviews. I'm like, well, they're lying. And then I read a bad, like this guy, a bad review. I don't know why I bought a CD from a female comic, but and I'm like,
Stop talking.
Off your CD?
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, you can't read those. It's
I can't read.
You know, I have
can't
that cartoon up.
participate. I
You
just
know,
cross my fingers and hope it's going okay.
right. I have this cartoon up on YouTube.
That's so funny.
The animated one of my jokes. Professional animator
Yes.
who's a freaking genius.
Yes.
My joke, very funny, and he's very funny with the images
it's a
he
great
puts.
combination.
Great combination. And he, the YouTube, I have 20,000 hits, and it's
Wow.
great. But the people reviewing it, there's trolls, right, for no reason, and they just keep posting, and I would read them, and I'd be like, oh crap, and so I just stopped reading all of them.
I think my
so
skin got
painful.
a lot thicker during Last Comic when
Yeah.
I was on it because
You can only be
I mean,
called
we had
fat
the
and
10
ugly and
million
stupid and short and
many.
ridiculous and a woman
Right,
comic
yes,
as
yeah,
some sort
yeah.
of
and the message boards
Aphorism,
were just like,
yeah.
and really I laid low on those because I'm not really like I'm not I'm not going to cause controversy.
Yeah, and
I'm
you weren't an asshole. You know?
right. I was just the nice
right.
lady. That
Yeah,
lived
you were the
there
nice
for
lady who
no
got to live in a
reason.
house
Right.
and do
But
stand-up comedy.
just any comments where initially I'd be like, oh, that's a horrible thing to say. You don't know me.
Right.
Who are you, Bob 3284 Dirtweed? Let me tell you something. And I'm getting ready to to answer these people. And I'm
Right.
like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and then I still don't I still try not to read any of it because I think I still have some sort of feelings.
Right.
But reading all that stuff for Last Comic Standing, I thought, you guys are the ones that are bored sitting at home typing about us. And
Yeah.
I don't ever want to get the attitude that none of it matters.
Right.
It does. Like
Yeah.
when George
Yeah.
Bush would say, I don't care what the people say. I don't
like-
listen to what the people say. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Well, it kind of does.
And
It
you
kinda
should.
does.
Yes, you
Yeah.
should read
be
your message
concerned.
boards. Yeah.
And
yeah.
if I release a CD and there's 80 reviews that say this is absolutely unfunny and sounds like a dolphin lecture, I need to think about that.
Dolphin dork. When is
I
that person
need
coming on?
to pay attention. But the snippy stuff day in and day out.
Yeah.
No.
Well, a lot of the stuff on YouTube I've taken to just like I'll read it, I'll just mark it as spam and remove it. I'm like, I don't need to keep the troll crap up. But if it's constructive or if it's just I didn't like this, I'm like, well, I can take that. Because I mean, if you don't like my stand-up comedy, that has happened.
Yeah.
It turns out
but if it
I can take that.
It goes into your, like someone on Hulu said they didn't like the shape of my face.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, what do you mean the shape? What's that mean? The round? Like, what's wrong with it? You know,
Right.
like, besides what I already think. Like, that never occurred to me. I see
already
other
a committee
things.
meeting in your head that's beating you up. You don't need someone.
Change the shape of your face.
Yeah. Just if you can do something
That
with your bone
seems like the
structure.
only thing that could not be addressed by plastic. Like, that is not, there's no solution to the shape of my
Shaving
face.
of bones.
No. Well,
I think
we
Nip Tuck
we'd have to
talked
break
about
it.
it.
We'd have to break your face.
Right, we'd have to open up
Redo
your
it.
skull,
I
remove
could
the
move
skin.
jaw,
and
maybe,
then
but it's not
shave
gonna
it.
change the actual shape of
No,
it.
it
Well, we
won't.
could file it down.
All right. Would you guys get a lot of plastic surgery? You guys thinking about doing it? Just getting it done?
Not now, but I'm not going to say no. Here's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
I'm hoping that by the time I'm like 60, there'll be, I've already heard of these
Right.
facelifts with no knives where
Yeah.
they just inject. I have no problem injecting weird things
Right.
into my body. Because I don't
I hear
know
that
what's in
about
it.
you.
I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have a problem with like getting cut and knives
Yeah.
and
How's that-
surgery.
yeah, how's
That
that gonna
depends
work?
on the
yeah.
skill of the surgeon.
Yeah,
And
right.
and that's your face. Like that's for that. That's another.
Right.
They'll probably do two or three
Maria's
a day.
doing a great joke about how she did go to the dermatologist, and the guy said, "Do you want to start Botox?" And she was like, "Do you think it's time?" And she scrunches her face up to like a balloon animal, and he goes, "Yeah, I think it's time." And she's like, "You really? You think so?" And she's got her face all scrunched up, and finally she goes, "No, I'm still using it. I'm still using my face. Thanks, though." And it's a great joke. MariaBamford.com. No, anyway, so KathleenMadigan.com. So dates, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's all online.
It's all
Just go
online.
on the
Come and see
website
it.
or
Go
Facebook, 'cause
see.
it's
Do
all-
some stand-up.
I'm out there.
You're you're
no,
out
I
there.
mean, I
You're
just
on the
got
road.
in a big smackdown with my agents about January, February, March. It's every weekend. And they go, well, you agreed to it. I go, well, because when I'm on the road and you ask me something, I don't have a calendar in front of me. I didn't understand that this is now 12 weeks in a row on the East Coast. Why don't I just live in New York? This is
Right.
I'm flying from L.A. all the way back to...
I'm still smiling. I'm like, that sounds awesome.
It is awesome.
It is
I know-
awesome.
I know,
We're very
I know.
grateful.
Yes.
You're a
Yeah.
grateful
if
comedian.
Anybody in Oshkosh, I was at the meeting yesterday. I remember some Wilmington, Red Bank, DC. I'm everywhere. Starting
Okay.
soon, now.
All right, let's get
that's
Laurie
great.
Kilmartin some dates. Wait, you have
Wait,
huge
well, you know what?
news.
Huge news.
I had to. I
Laurie
was supposed to be
Kilmartin.
at the Punchline in San Francisco.
Yep.
The
Yep.
September 28th through October 2nd. I had to cut the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday out. I'm just doing Saturday,
You're
October
going to do
2nd.
Saturday, October 2nd.
Because on Monday I start my new writing job on the Conan O'Brien show.
Yes!
Yay!
Woo!
Laurie Kilmartin working.
So if you
So
don't like the
excited.
new Conan show, email in that you don't like the shape of Laurie's face. There's a
Obviously, the shape of
writer.
her face is affecting her writing. Fantastic.
Told you, Conan, weird shaped face. No, not funny.
Not enough with the regular features with the two eyes and the nose and the chin and stuff.
And when does it go on the air?
November 8th.
November
that's
8th it
soon.
starts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys got about a whole month and a half.
But a
to-
month
Okay,
and a
so you
half.
get a
I
month
think
and a half
some
to-
of the writers are already in for sure, and then
Okay.
I start.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Are you the only woman, or will
I think
there be
so.
others?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I am.
All right.
Yeah, the interview was last Wednesday, and it was so exciting. And then I
That's
got a
great.
call on Wednesday night from Conan O'Brien.
No
And
way, he
yes,
called you?
Yes.
That's
it was
really
really cool.
cool.
Yeah, it was really it's just nice people, nice vibe. I'm so excited.
Did you ever do
Team
his show as a
Coco.
comic?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
that's even
Did you ever do it
Yeah.
as a comic?
I did when it was in New York and at that very strange theater where there was like a giant 8-foot wall in front of you and then the people were way up there.
I like that you say that like you think I've done it. I have not done it. I appreciate it, though. It's,
Well, Conan wasn't like at the time. The Letterman and Tonight Show was the big
Was the way to
deal.
go. But I
Conan
always
was
just
sort of
wanted to
like-
do Conan. I always
Yeah,
really
because
just wanted
it
to
just
do
felt
Conan.
like
Yeah.
quirkier and
Hi! Guess what happened? Ran out of memory on the card. May have to purchase a larger card. How about that? Because it's only been an hour, and so
Right.
we're going to
What kind of
smoothly...
cheap ass operation is this?
I
I have
know.
more
It's a-
memory in my
Yeah.
camera.
Your ass?
Please
What just
donate.
happened?
Please donate,
Please
everybody.
donate.
Right.
It just became
So,
more urgent.
We were just celebrating Conan. We were celebrating the Conan thing when we got rudely interrupted,
Yeah.
and that's neat. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
that's
so
great.
excited.
And then people can go and see you live on the lovely
Yeah, I'll post stuff on Facebook where I'm appearing, but I'll basically be LA based.
Laurie Kilmartin.
And then on my dark weeks, I'll try and go out on the road and stuff.
Right, because there is dark weeks.
Yeah, we have some weeks off.
Right, I'm doing a couple of sets here in Los Angeles for I got something in Studio City tonight. Guess what? It's going to be over
You're gonna
when I
miss that,
post
right?
this up.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing a storytelling show next week at the Improv Lab next to the Improv with Bill Burr. People love him.
I love Bill Burr.
See,
I do love
told
Bill
you.
Burr.
He's
very
funny.
funny.
He's nice, and he's most importantly to me fun to drink with.
Awesome.
I really don't care about
Awesome.
drag so much anymore. I'm over that. I'm
Yeah,
over any
whatever,
sort of
you and your
judging.
kind.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
Do you have something fun to tell me at the bar?
Excellent.
If yes, then great.
Then let's do it.
And fun at the bar for her is Rosemary Kennedy had a lobotomy. Like
That's
the
That's
window
it.
is
Let's,
wide
let's
open. with
open
fun
up
at the
a
bar.
history,
Yes.
little fun fact about what fun fact do you know about, let's say, Napoleon. Find Kathleen Madigan and tell her what historical fun fact you know.
They
so,
just did on Huffington Post the weird hobbies that really bad dictators have had. And don't think I couldn't click on that page to see what the weird
oh my God.
Hitler was really into Mickey Mouse stuff. As a matter of
No.
fact, Goebbels brought him a Mickey Mouse hat with ears.
Yeah.
And, this is in the middle of the Reichstag, and he couldn't wait to run in the room and try on his mouse. That's Hitler.
Oh, my God.
100% for real.
What about Stalin? Stalin? Pinochet? What do you got? Was
no,
there anything?
who else? They
Edie
did
Amin?
Saddam, that he wrote romance novels, but I knew that.
You know, Saddam Hussein also was a lap swimmer, and I know that because I was a swimmer. So when I went to Iraq and did shows, I brought my suit and I swam in some of his pools.
Did you see that pool
And I
that
bet he didn't see
made?
that coming when he was doing that Dan Rather interview.
I doubt
I
it.
think there's going to be comedians swimming in my pool.
Did you see where they shot that Dan Rather interview when you were in Iraq?
No,
because
I
I
don't think
stayed
so.
in the guest house where they shot that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was attached to this giant pool that he had made out of the drinking water of Baghdad. I'm against the death penalty. I don't mourn that dude. That dude can die. That's I couldn't have killed him.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have killed him if it would have come up to me. But that's a bad guy. He's took the tap water from the city of Baghdad and turned it into a
They told
pool.
us that when we were there. We were at one of his palaces.
Yeah,
And
and he had some sort of mutant fish that he had going on in that thing too.
oh
So,
yeah, and apparently dead bodies were thrown in there.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
you
it was,
can't drink
it
that
was
water.
great to
You
swim
can't
in. It
eat
was a
those
fast
fish.
pool. If you're a
Oh,
swimmer, you know
yeah,
that's
it was a pool.
It's a fast pool, yeah. So
There's
those are
good pools and bad pools. I didn't know that.
yeah. There's the way the pool's constructed makes
Really?
it fast or slow. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Meaning I'll go faster in some pools.
Yes.
Do they do
Yeah.
that in the Olympics?
Oh yeah, the Olympic pools are sick. Yeah, I mean they're constructed in a way where there's no waves, so you can be doing the most.
Now, why wouldn't they
insane
make all
butterfly.
pools like that? Why wouldn't they make all
Costs
pools?
a lot of money.
More
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's technology.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're
I
going
don't
to have
think my
Laurie
above
Kilmartin
ground
on.
pool that we had when I was a kid. I don't think anybody thought about that. No, I think anybody thought about
Lake
the
Michigan,
speed.
I don't think is very efficient, which is where I swam as a child.
Pretty wavy.
And, pretty wavy,
Yeah.
pretty wavy, a little stinky. And so let me just say I'm in Georgia next week, and then after that I'm in Vegas. So
Where in Vegas?
Harrah's Improv with Shelley Berman.
Oh no!
I know, that's why I took it. I
awesome.
know, I canceled a gig, an opportunity to play the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club, so that I could go to Vegas and work with Shelley Berman, because he's 85 and now's the time.
Yeah, and he plays Larry David's dad on Curb.
Right, I like that he still works. I'm hoping he still
freaking
writes.
awesome.
And he has really cute tennis shoes.
Adorable
Check
tennis
out his
shoes.
shoes,
All right,
yeah.
and you know what? And that it's always good to be flattering to those old guys too. Just because, not that it's hard to be flattering to those old guys.
He's a
but
Chatty Cathy too.
oh, perfect
I
with stories
hosted
of the.
some Polestar Award thing, and he was down there, and he was.
I want to hear the
Oh,
stories,
yeah?
man. I
Yeah.
want to hear the
Yeah.
stories. Awesome. Maybe I'll bring my equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Dork Forest. We're going to have people back. Kathleen Madigan possibly can come back and talk about the hobbies of the horrible, horrible leaders in history. Laurie Kilmartin, possibly a swimming episode.
Oh yeah, let's
That'll
do
be-
that.
let's do that.
Yeah.
I just learned that. I'm now going to start asking people when I'm at a hotel.
That's
is there
what
a
this
fast
show is
pool
about.
or a slow pool?
That is what this program
can
is
tell
about,
by my
ladies and
arms
gentlemen.
I'm a
Thank you
swimmer.
so much for listening. Don't forget to tell your friends. Have a good night. Bye. I keep saying have a good night. Why do I say that? It's daytime.
You never know when they're listening. It's a podcast.
My hat, my hat, my hat.
They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?